Chosen one, hear this. What I am about to speak is not from man, not from the noise of the world, but from the whisper of eternity. The Spirit says an unusual emergency is coming, a moment that will stop the plans of nations, a moment that will interrupt the systems of men, a moment that will shake the earth in ways unseen. This is not a common storm, not a normal crisis, but a divine alarm ringing from heaven. When God speaks of an unusual emergency, he does not speak to the crowd. He speaks to the chosen. He calls out those who have ears to hear, hearts to discern, and faith to stand. This is not the time to sleep, not the time to be distracted, not the time to be entangled with the world. This is the time to awaken, to watch, and to be set apart. Beloved, what is coming will reveal what is hidden, it will test what is genuine, and it will expose what is false. The towers of pride will fall, the idols of men will collapse, and the foundations of deception will be shattered. Yet for the chosen, those who cling to the rock that cannot be moved, this emergency will not be their ruin, it will be their refining. You are not born in this hour by accident. You are not hearing this message by coincidence. You are chosen, chosen to endure, chosen to overcome, chosen to carry light when darkness swallows the nations. The unusual emergency will not destroy you, it will reveal you. And as the world trembles, you will rise with unshakable faith, for the hand of God is upon you. So listen closely, because what I am about to share are not just words, but warnings and instructions. Heaven has issued the alarm. The unusual emergency is coming, and only those who prepare will stand. Chosen one, the trumpet of warning, chosen one, listen with all your heart, because heaven has sounded the trumpet. The word that has come forth is not a whisper of comfort, but a blast of warning. An unusual emergency is coming. The world may scoff, leaders may deny, and nations may ignore, but the trumpet of God cannot be silenced. Whenever the trumpet sounds in the ancient days, it was never without meaning. It was the alarm before battle, the call before gathering, the signal before judgment, and the announcement before the presence of God descended. And so it is now. The trumpet is sounding again, not in the physical, but in the spirit. The chosen must hear it because many will not. Every time God was about to move, whether in judgment or in mercy, he sent a warning. He sent Noah before the flood. He sent Jonah before the collapse of Nineveh. He sent Moses before the plagues of Egypt. And he sent prophets to Israel before exile. And now in this generation he is not silent. The trumpet declares, prepare, for the unusual emergency is on its way. This is not man's warning. It is not the prediction of analysts, nor the chatter of news networks. This is the sound of heaven calling his people to awaken, to separate, and to get ready. But what is an unusual emergency? It is something outside the patterns we expect. It will not fit neatly into human reasoning. It will be strange, sudden, and startling. Systems that appear secure will break overnight. Leaders who appear powerful will be brought low in an instant. Nations that think themselves unshakable will tremble. And yet in the midst of this shaking, the trumpet is not for the world. It is for the chosen. For the world will panic, but the chosen must prepare. The world will scatter, but the chosen must stand. The world will fall into confusion, but the chosen must discern. The trumpet of warning always separates those who are awake from those who are asleep. In ancient Israel, when the trumpet sounded from the walls of the city, the watchmen who heard it would rise and act, while those who ignored it would be caught unprepared. So it is now. Many are sleeping in compromise, lulled by comfort, entangled in distraction, and blinded by sin. They hear the sound faintly, but they dismiss it, saying, we still have time, we still have strength, we still have peace. But when the trumpet sounds from heaven, time is short. When the trumpet sounds, delay is dangerous. Chosen one, you cannot afford to ignore this sound. You cannot wait for the world to believe before you move. You cannot wait for signs in the sky before you prepare. The unusual emergency will come like a thief in the night for those in darkness. But for the chosen, it must not come as a surprise. The trumpet is God's mercy before his shaking. It is his call to protect you before the storm hits. It is his way of saying, I do not leave my people blind. I reveal my plans before I act. When the trumpet of warning is ignored, judgment always follows. Remember the days of Noah. The ark was mocked until the first raindrops fell. The trumpet of warning had been sounding for years through Noah's preaching, but the people laughed. Then the flood came, unusual, unstoppable, and unescapable. So too in this hour, many laugh at warnings, dismiss them as exaggeration, or call them doom and gloom. Yet the Spirit speaks, not to terrify, but to prepare. For the chosen, the trumpet is not destruction. It is direction. It is the Father saying, come under my wings before the storm breaks. Do not forget the trumpet on Mount Sinai. When Israel camped at the mountain, the trumpet of God grew louder and louder. It shook the ground, it trembled the atmosphere, it filled every heart with awe. The trumpet announced his holy presence. And in the same way, the unusual emergency that is coming will not only be a shaking, it will also be a visitation. When foundations crumble, when pride is humbled, when systems collapse, it will be the stage for God's glory to be revealed through his chosen ones. The trumpet is announcing not only a warning of danger, but also an invitation to intimacy. The question is, will you be ready to stand in his presence when the shaking begins? Hear this, every trumpet in the word of God demanded action. It demanded a response. You cannot hear the trumpet and stay the same. You cannot hear the warning and remain idle. To hear the trumpet is to make a choice. Will you prepare or will you ignore? Will you walk in faith or fall with fear? Will you stand apart as chosen or blend with the crowd that mocks? The trumpet separates. It separates the faithful from the faithless, the watchful from the careless, the sealed from the unmarked. Chosen one, this is the hour of decision. Heaven has sounded the alarm. An unusual emergency is approaching. But you were not born to be destroyed by it. You were born to stand in it. The trumpet is not to break you, but to build you, not to crush you, but to call you higher. While others fall into panic, you are called to rise in peace. While others lose their way, you are called to shine with clarity. While others are shaken apart, you are called to remain unshakable. So what must you do? You must tune your ears to the voice of heaven. Silence the distractions that drown out the sound of the trumpet. You must separate from the sins that entangle you, because they will not survive the shaking. You must anchor your heart on the rock that will not move, and above all, you must live ready, not in fear but in faith. The trumpet is announcing that time is short, that urgency is upon us, and that preparation is no longer optional. It is vital. Do not wait for tomorrow, chosen one. Do not wait for another confirmation, another sign, another delay. The trumpet has already sounded. The unusual emergency is already in motion. Heaven has spoken. Now is the time to act. And when the emergency comes, when the shaking unfolds, when the world trembles in fear, remember this. You heard the trumpet. You were warned. You were chosen. And because you were chosen, you will stand. Chosen one, the shaking of false foundations, chosen one, listen closely, for the Spirit has spoken. An unusual emergency is coming, and it will shake every foundation that man has built apart from God. What appears strong will crack. What appears secure will collapse. What appears unmovable will be moved. For the Lord has declared, once more I will shake not only the earth, but also the heavens. When God shakes, no lie can remain standing. When God shakes, no idol can survive. When God shakes, everything built on sand will crumble. We live in a world built on false foundations. Nations exalt their armies, their economies, their wealth, and their science as if these things were eternal. Leaders boast of their power as if they are gods upon thrones that cannot fall. People chase after money, pleasure, fame, and pride as if these are unshakable pillars. Yet God has said, every false foundation will be tested by fire. Every empire built in arrogance will fall. Every system built on greed will collapse. Every structure built without him will not survive the shaking. Do you not see how fragile the world already is? A single disease can stop the engines of nations. A single storm can wipe away cities. A single conflict can send markets crashing. A single tremor can bring down towers. Yet the world lives as if it is untouchable. This is the deception of false foundations. They look solid until the shaking comes. And when the unusual emergency arrives, what seemed indestructible will be revealed as dust. Look at history. Every great empire thought itself eternal, yet every one collapsed. Egypt's pyramids could not save Pharaoh. Babylon's walls could not stop judgment. Rome's armies could not preserve her glory. Towers, palaces, kingdoms, all crumbled because they trusted in stone and sword, not in the living God. And so it will be in this generation. Do not be deceived by skyscrapers, stock markets, or superpowers. Do not be fooled by the glitter of gold or the promises of politicians. They are false foundations, and when the shaking comes, they will fall. The unusual emergency that is coming will expose the fragility of everything man has built. It will strip away illusions, tear down idols, and bring low the pride of nations. And yet this shaking is not random, it is divine. God himself allows the shaking, for he cannot let his people find security in lies. The false must be torn down so the true can be revealed. The temporary must be broken so the eternal can be seen. But hear me, this shaking will not be comfortable. When foundations collapse, everything built upon them will tremble. When the markets collapse, wealth will vanish. When governments shake, laws will shift. When nations quake, stability will be lost. The chosen must be ready, for the world will panic. The crowd will ask, where is safety? Where is hope? Where is truth? And in that hour, only the chosen who stand on the rock will have the answer. Do not forget what the Master said. The wise man builds his house on the rock, but the foolish man builds his house on the sand. Both houses looked strong when the sun was shining. Both houses seemed safe in calm weather. But when the storm came, the difference was revealed. The foolish man's house collapsed with great ruin, while the wise man's house stood firm. So it will be in this unusual emergency. The storm will reveal what is real. The shaking will expose who is wise and who is foolish. Chosen one, you must ask yourself now, what foundation are you standing on? Are you rooted in the eternal word or in the shifting sands of culture? Are you trusting in God's promises or in man's systems? Are you holding fast to the rock of ages or clinging to idols that will crumble? The shaking will not ask you. It will show you. It will show you what you are truly built upon. This is why the trumpet of warning has sounded, to call you to strengthen your foundation before the storm breaks. Do not wait until the ground cracks beneath your feet. Do not wait until the idols are falling from their pedestals. Prepare now. Root yourself deeper in prayer. Anchor yourself in truth. Fasten your soul to the eternal, for the unusual emergency will shake the proud, but it will not move the faithful. The shaking is not only destruction, it is also mercy. God shakes what can be shaken so that what cannot be shaken will remain. He allows false foundations to collapse so his chosen can stand secure. He tears down idols so his glory can be revealed. He humbles the proud so the meek can inherit the earth. Do not fear the shaking. It is the hand of God separating shadow from substance, lies from truth, the temporary from the eternal. But understand this, when the shaking comes, the line will be drawn. Those who trusted in idols will collapse with their idols. Those who leaned on nations will fall with their nations. Those who worshipped wealth will be ruined with their wealth. But those who trust in the Lord will rise when others fall, will stand when others crumble, and will shine when others fade. Chosen one, you are not called to fall with the world. You are called to stand as a pillar in the midst of collapse. You are not called to panic with the crowd. You are called to guide the crowd to the rock. You are not called to lose yourself in the shaking. You are called to reveal the God who is unshakable. So strengthen yourself now. Do not place your hope in false foundations. Nations rise and fall. Money comes and goes. Leaders change and systems collapse. But the word of the Lord endures forever. Anchor yourself in the eternal kingdom that cannot be shaken. For when the unusual emergency strikes, the world will see the difference between those who built on sand and those who built on the rock. Hear the word, the shaking of false foundations is coming. The idols will topple, the towers will fall, the empires will crumble. But you, chosen one, are not called to collapse. You are called to endure. And when the dust clears, when the noise fades, when the false has been torn down, you will still be standing, not by your own strength, but because your foundation is the Lord. And then the world will see that in the midst of collapse, there is one foundation that never fails, one rock that never crumbles, one kingdom that cannot be shaken. And you, chosen one, will be a living testimony of that truth. Chosen one, the call to radical separation, chosen one, the Spirit is speaking with urgency. An unusual emergency is coming, and it will demand separation. Not the shallow kind, not the halfway line, not the casual difference of words alone, but a radical separation. In times of peace, it is easy to blend in. In times of calm, it is easy to look like everyone else. But when the shaking comes, when false foundations fall, when the trumpet sounds, God is calling his chosen to stand apart, clearly, boldly, unmistakably. Separation has always been the mark of the chosen. When God called Israel out of Egypt, he did not call them to live half in Egypt and half in the promised land. He called them to step out, to be distinct, to leave the idols of Pharaoh behind and walk as a holy people. When Lot lingered in Sodom, judgment came swiftly, and the angel's command was clear: do not look back. To be chosen is to be marked by separation. Separation from sin, from compromise, from the ways of a world destined to collapse. But hear this, the unusual emergency that is coming will not allow fence, sitters to remain hidden. It will expose every heart. It will strip away masks. It will reveal who is truly set apart and who is secretly compromised. For too long, many have lived in mixture, professing faith with their lips, but chasing idols with their hearts. But when the shaking comes, the mixture will not survive. Light and darkness cannot blend when the storm breaks. You must choose where you stand. The call to radical separation is not about isolation from people. It is about consecration unto God. It is about being so deeply aligned with His truth, His holiness, and His ways that when the world looks at you, they see a different spirit, a different strength, a different peace. The chosen must be distinct, because in the hour of emergency, the world will not look for those who sound like them. They will look for those who carry what they cannot find anywhere else. Radical separation means living by a different standard when everyone else bows to compromise. When Daniel was taken into Babylon, he was surrounded by luxury, power, and temptation. Yet Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. He lived separated in a world of corruption, and when the crisis came, when the king's dream needed interpretation, when the lion's den tested his faith, it was Daniel's separation that marked him as chosen. So it must be for you. The emergency will test every heart, and only those who live separated now will stand secure then. Separation is costly. It means walking away from what others cling to. It means being mocked for not conforming. It means refusing the table of idols, even when everyone else feasts. But chosen one, remember this: what you give up in compromise, you will gain in covenant. What you lose in the approval of men, you will gain in the favor of God. When the unusual emergency sweeps through, the approval of the crowd will mean nothing, but the covering of God will mean everything. This is why the Spirit is calling you now. Break away from every chain, every sin, every distraction that ties you to the collapsing world. You cannot hold hands with Babylon and expect to escape her judgment. You cannot drink from the cup of the world and the cup of the Lord at the same time. Radical separation demands decision. It demands that you draw a line and declare, I belong to the Lord and no one else. Do not think you can wait until the shaking begins to separate. In the day of crisis, there will be no time for hesitation. The oil in the lamps of the wise virgins was gathered before the midnight cry, not after. Those who tried to borrow at the last moment were shut out. So too in this hour. You must prepare now. You must live separated now. You must fill your lamp now. The unusual emergency is coming, and it will not wait for your delay. Separation also means preparation for purpose. God never calls his people out without calling them into something greater. When he called Abraham out of his land, he called him into covenant. When he called Israel out of Egypt, he called them into the promised land. When he calls you out of the world system, he is calling you into his kingdom assignment. Radical separation is not about loss. It is about positioning. It is about being set apart so you can be used mightily in the hour of shaking. The world will soon face confusion, fear, and despair. Governments will scramble, leaders will falter, foundations will fall. And in that hour, those who are chosen and separated will shine like beacons. They will not be shaken by fear because they do not belong to fear. They will not bow to the idols of survival because their trust is not in man's provision but in God's faithfulness. They will not crumble when others collapse because they are not built on the same foundation. This is why you must live separated, because when the unusual emergency strikes, the world will need to see the difference. Remember this: the chosen are never hidden in the day of crisis. Joseph was hidden in a prison until the famine came. Then his separation lifted him to the palace. Esther was hidden in the shadows until the decree of destruction came. Then her separation lifted her to the throne. The disciples were hidden in obscurity until persecution came. Then their separation ignited the spread of the gospel. The unusual emergency that is coming will not destroy the chosen. It will reveal them. But only those who are radically separated will be recognized as chosen. So, chosen one, the call is clear: separate now. Do not delay. Do not straddle the line. Break away from compromise. Let go of Babylon's hand. Lay down the idols of comfort, greed, lust, and pride. Consecrate your heart fully to the Lord, for when the trumpet sounds and the shaking begins, it will be too late to decide. The time for decision is now, and when the emergency comes, when the world cries out in fear, when false foundations collapse, you will not be shaken. You will stand distinct, different, and set apart. The line of separation will be your covering. The mark of holiness will be your shield. The seal of God will be your identity. And while others fall into despair, you will carry the light of hope, the word of truth, and the presence of God into the darkness. The call is urgent. The command is clear. The Spirit is saying, come out from among them and be separate. Chosen one, this is your hour. The unusual emergency is coming. Be ready, be sealed, be separated. And when the shaking strikes, you will not fall, you will shine. Chosen one, the refining of the remnant chosen one, hear this: The unusual emergency that is coming will not destroy the remnant. It will refine them. For what fire is to gold, what pressure is to the diamond, what storms are to the roots of a tree, so the coming shaking will be to the people of God. It will strip away what is weak. It will burn away what is impure. It will remove what is temporary, so that what remains will be pure, strong, and unshakable. All throughout history, God has used shaking not to crush his people, but to prepare them. When Israel wandered in the wilderness, the desert became their furnace. It was there that they learned to depend not on Egypt, not on their own strength, but on the God who rained bread from heaven and water from a rock. The wilderness stripped away Egypt's chains from their hearts. So it is now. When the unusual emergency comes, it will strip away the chains of this age. It will cut off the false hopes, the hidden idols, the silent compromises, and it will leave a remnant that has been tested and refined. Refining is never comfortable. Fire burns, pressure squeezes, storms shake. Yet the chosen must understand, refining is love. A jeweler does not put gold into the fire to destroy it, but to reveal its beauty. A potter does not place clay into the kiln to shatter it, but to harden it into strength. A gardener does not prune the vine to wound it, but to make it fruitful. So when the unusual emergency comes, do not say, God has abandoned me. Instead, know this, God is refining me. He is preparing me. He is purifying me for his glory. The remnant is always small, but it is always powerful. In every generation, God sets apart a remnant, those who will not bow, who will not bend, who will not break. When Elijah thought he was alone, God reminded him of the remnant who had not bowed to Baal. When Israel went into exile, it was the remnant that carried the covenant forward. When the Messiah came, it was the remnant that received him. And when the unusual emergency strikes in this age, it will again be the remnant who endure and reveal God's kingdom to a shaking world. Chosen one, understand this. You are part of that remnant. That is why the fire has been hotter in your life. That is why the battles have been fiercer. That is why the pressure has been heavier, because you are not ordinary. You are chosen for refining. Others may collapse under weight you have carried. Others may run from trials you have endured. But you remain, not because of your strength, but because God has marked you as his remnant. The refining of the remnant always comes before a great unveiling. Before Joseph stood in the palace, he endured the furnace of betrayal, slavery, and prison. Before David sat on the throne, he was refined in caves, hunted by enemies, pressed by fear. Before Esther wore the crown, she was refined by loss, by testing, by risk. Before the disciples shook the nations, they were refined by rejection, persecution, and fire. Refining precedes revealing. The unusual emergency is not the end of your story. It is the stage for your unveiling, but do not be deceived. This refining is not for the faint of heart. The emergency will test your endurance, your faith, your purity. The pressure will separate those who walk by feelings from those who walk by faith. The fire will expose whether your trust is in comfort or in covenant, yet the chosen must not shrink back, for the fire may be hot, but it is temporary. The result is eternal. The storm may be violent, but it will pass. The fruit it produces will last forever. When gold is refined, it is heated until the impurities rise to the surface. The refiner then removes the dross, leaving only the pure. So too, the unusual emergency will expose what is hidden: fear, doubt, pride, compromise. It will rise to the surface so that God can remove it. Do not despise this exposure. Do not run from it. Let God cleanse you. Let him purify your heart, for only the pure in heart will see him. The refining of the remnant will also produce unity. Fire melts metal together. Storms force people to cling tighter. So it will be in this hour. The remnant will be drawn together, not by denomination, not by man-made labels, but by the Spirit of the living God. The shaking will scatter the false, but it will gather the true. The chosen will find each other in the fire, and together they will stand as a purified bride, ready for the return of the King. Chosen one, do not fear what is coming. Fear is for those who do not understand refining. Fear is for those who cling to what must be burned away, but you are not of them. You are chosen. You are of the remnant. You know that when the fire is over, you will shine like gold. You know that when the storm has passed, your roots will be deeper. You know that when the unusual emergency has ended, you will stand unshakable, purified, and prepared. And hear this, when the remnant emerges from the refining, the world will take notice. While others fall into despair, the remnant will walk in peace. While others crumble in fear, the remnant will rise in faith. While others lose hope, the remnant will carry hope. For the refining will have stripped them of all reliance on the world, leaving only reliance on God. And that is the power that will shine in the darkest hour. So, chosen one, lift your head. The refining is not punishment, it is preparation. The unusual emergency will not be your destruction, it will be your purification. The fire will not consume you, it will consume what is not of God in you. The shaking will not scatter you, it will settle you on the only unshakable foundation. You are being refined because you are chosen. And when the refining is complete, you will carry the weight of glory this world has never seen. This is the call. Endure the refining. Do not run from it. Do not despise it. Embrace it, for it is shaping you into who you were always meant to be. And when the remnant rises, purified and strong, the unusual emergency will not be remembered for its destruction, but for the glory it produced in the chosen. So stand firm, beloved remnant. The fire is here, but so is your destiny. The storm is here, but so is your crown. The refining is here, but so is your glory. You are chosen, you are remnant, you are being purified. And when the shaking ends, you will stand as gold tested by fire, shining with the brilliance of God himself. Chosen one, the rise of the prepared ones, chosen one, listen with urgency. An unusual emergency is coming, but it will not end in despair. It will end in the rise of those who were prepared. The shaking is not the conclusion, it is the transition. The collapse of false foundations is not the end, but the unveiling of those who built on the rock. The refining of the remnant is not destruction, but preparation for glory. And when the dust clears, when the world cries out for answers, when nations stumble in confusion, it will be the prepared ones who rise. Throughout history, every crisis has unveiled a people who were ready before the storm struck. When famine covered the land, Joseph rose from the prison to the palace because he had been prepared in secret. When Goliath mocked Israel, David stepped out of obscurity to confront him because his hands had been trained with the sling in the field. When Babylon's king trembled over his dream, Daniel stood with wisdom because he had already purposed in his heart to be separated. When the early church faced persecution, they rose with boldness because they had already been filled with the Spirit. Preparation is what separates collapse from conquest, fear from faith, ruin from rising. The unusual emergency will expose who is prepared and who is not. The crowd will be swept away, but the prepared ones will stand. The masses will panic, but the prepared ones will lead. The fearful will hide, but the prepared ones will shine. This is why the trumpet of warning has sounded, not so that you will fear, but so that you will be ready. For in the days ahead, the prepared will not be the victims of the shaking. They will be the voices of direction, the carriers of peace, the bearers of truth, and the witnesses of the unshakable kingdom. But what does it mean to be prepared? It does not mean storing treasures in barns or leaning on human strategies. True preparation is deeper. It is being rooted so deeply in God that no storm can uproot you. It is being filled so fully with His Spirit that no darkness can overcome you. It is being anchored so firmly in His Word that no deception can shake you. It is being separated so clearly from the world that no compromise can corrupt you. The prepared ones are not made by chance. They are forged in prayer, in obedience, in consecration, in secret devotion long before the shaking begins. Do not be deceived. When the unusual emergency arrives, it will be too late to prepare. The 5 foolish virgins tried to buy oil when the cry came at midnight, but the door was already shut. The oil of preparation must be gathered now, not tomorrow. The remnant who rise in the crisis will not be those who casually walked with God, but those who pressed in, who prayed when others slept, who fasted when others feasted, who consecrated themselves when others compromised. They will be ready, and because they are ready, they will rise, and rise they will. For while the world shakes, the prepared ones will carry unshakable peace. While the nations rage, the prepared ones will walk in divine authority. While others search for answers, the prepared ones will declare the word of the Lord. While darkness spreads, the prepared ones will shine like lights upon a hill that cannot be hidden. Their voices will cut through the noise. Their lives will testify of the truth. Their presence will be evidence that God has not abandoned his people. This rising is not about pride, but about purpose. The prepared ones are not called to rise for their own glory, but to reveal his glory. They will be the hands that heal when fear grips the sick. They will be the voices that guide when confusion blinds the lost. They will be the intercessors who stand in the gap when judgment falls heavy. They will be the watchmen who sound the alarm when deception spreads. Their preparation will not be wasted. It will be the answer the world is desperate for in the hour of shaking. Chosen one, you are called to be one of them. You are not called to collapse with the crowd. You are not called to drown in fear. You are not called to hide in silence. You are called to prepare now, so that when the unusual emergency comes, you will not only survive, you will rise. And your rising will not be by human strength, but by divine appointment. For the Spirit is already marking the prepared ones, already setting them apart, already filling them with the oil that will burn bright in the midnight hour. Do not despise the hidden season you are in now. Joseph was prepared in prison. David was prepared in obscurity. Daniel was prepared in exile. You too are being prepared in the quiet, in the unseen, in the furnace of refining. Every prayer you pray, every sacrifice you make, every compromise you refuse, every step of obedience you take, it is oil in your lamp, and when the midnight cry comes, it will not be wasted. It will be the very thing that sets you apart. And hear this: when the prepared ones rise, the world will know that there is a God in heaven who rules over the affairs of men. Their peace will testify of his kingdom. Their strength will reveal his spirit. Their wisdom will display his truth. Their endurance will prove his promises. They will not only endure the unusual emergency, they will turn it into a stage for the glory of God. So, chosen one, the call is clear: prepare now. Do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait for another confirmation. Do not be lulled by the illusion of calm. The trumpet has already sounded. The shaking is already set. The unusual emergency is already unfolding. And when it comes, you will either be counted among the unprepared, or you will rise as one of the prepared. The choice is yours, but the time is short. Strengthen your foundation, fill your lamp, consecrate your life. Anchor your heart. The hour of rising is near, and when the storm comes, when nations fall, when the world trembles, you will not be shaken. You will rise, not because of who you are, but because of who has prepared you. You will rise, not by chance, but by choice. You will rise, not for your own glory, but for his. The unusual emergency will not silence you. It will reveal you. The darkness will not cover you. It will only make your light shine brighter. The shaking will not destroy you. It will lift you, for you are chosen, you are prepared, and you will rise.